Coming up next on the Dawn of War Hyper League, brought to you by Hyperkinetic. My name is Angry Crow, I'll be your caster. We got MT versus CJ, round 4, game 1. Let's load it up, have some fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tomo, of course, and Carrie Janka. I don't know what that's about, but the Orcs versus Space Marines. We're going to open up on the side of Mr. Tomo in what looks like a long map, but how big is it? Let's turn that fog of war off really quickly. You can see the two armies are opposed to each other. Stronghold, Chapel Barracks, Mr. Tomo on the move. This is the original game right here. This is peanut butter versus jelly. That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get you a mic next round. I'm done. I'm done. And it looks like we have a couple of things down already. Chapel Barracks immediately. Who needs scouts? Alright, we have another set of, that's right, Servitor hanging out, getting ready to build a few things at a time. That means go and control those points. The rules have changed just a little bit if you've not been around. Of course you've been around. This is the Hyper League. For round 4, we've added these two rules, which I think might have always been there. Strategic points and critical location. So if your team controls half of the map, then you have 7 minutes to win the game. In the case of strategic points, if you control more than 2/3 for 8 minutes, then you win the game. So there's definitely a little bit more play, a little bit more back and forth, and I'm not quite sure about the ability of Karyajenka, but it seems like there is a whole lot of orcs in a whole little time. Unit cap already over 25. Look at all these boys, slugger boys, soldier boys, young lean, hanging out over here. It's like Superman. Taking oh my goodness. Already playing back a very, very important point. Relic, neutral, no owner, not yet, no sir. No how. Can Mr. Tomo keep up with the unit production already? 2 units out, and starting with a hero, which is an interesting choice. I think Mr. Tomo is very well aware that he's got strength against numbers, because that's what you're going to need. It's going to take a long time for a very heavy powered orc unit to show up. A couple of scouts doing their scout thing, scouting out in the outsides like it's raining outside in the outrain. Not a lot of people going across this border quite yet though this early in the game. I'm going to keep an eye on Mr. Tomo's side. That way I can see who's who, even though these guys are green, already taking over a critical location. The map is moving very quickly. The strategic game is moving very slick. As a matter of fact, half the control points at this point now are already spoken for. So if you came to the dance late, there's little to no time. Got some units spot in. Servitor happening. Construction completed. We're good to go. It looks like we have a couple of units and hero. Space Marines, but I need that Space Marine squad to be expanded upon really quickly. It seems 5 out of 9 units is not quite enough to take control. If you can get weapon upgrades, you might be able to hold against this large force of slugger boys that are just chilling over on the side of the map. Already grown to about 11 out of 15 units, but notice that power and number is not, well, I already have a lot of weapon upgrades too. It's going to be a pain in the butt to battle these guys. Can Mr. Tomo congeal his forces enough to create a paste of meaty destruction? Let's find out. The Space Marine squads picking up a heavy bolter torch to really control the center of the map, but will that be up in time as the clash finally happens? Here we go, flamethrowers abound, heavy weapon upgrades ready. Can we get this commander in the fray? Alexander, Salamander. Salamander is somehow representing fire for some reason. I don't know. It's like a newt of some sort. Oh, but the heavy turret is almost up, and that might make all of the difference, even though, yes, wow. What good time. Those orcs need to run for their lives. This is not very war. As you can see, Mr. Tomo just laying down that forward armored position is going to make a huge difference, and that force commander is just taking out anything in its path. Knocking these green boys all over the place. Oh, the little creeper dudes, what are they gonna do? Those are Gretchens. Gretchens come in twos, and it's really difficult when a turret is surrounded to defend against these guys. They're definitely good at distracting. I don't know if they're that good at deconstructing, But we'll see. It looks like that turret can definitely handle it. And it looks like Mr. Tomo has pushed the orcs all the way up to the other side of the map. Half of the map is under control, but not by a single person. And so he's looking for another point. Looks like these boys are shooter boys, and that is enough to freak Mr. Tomo out. But he's already on the build. I've been watching this guy practice a lot lately, and units are flowing. This is starting to heat up. The middle of round 4 of the Hyperkinetic Hyper League. It's like not the most difficult thing in the world to say, but it's a kind of hard thing to say quickly. Ah, thank you for that little moment to cool down. What are we going to see next? Are we looking at upgrades? We're looking at tech upgrades, it seems, as Mr. Tomo is increasing his capacity for energy. It's going to allow him to build even bigger guns, which is amazing. But you can see he's also running against his unit cap, but also spending his resources very, very rapidly, trying to keep kind of like that StarCraft strategy of being almost always broke. As long as you have units on the field, like, what are you going to do with those resources except build more units? And that's right. You can't, nothing lasts forever. You can't take it with you. And speaking of can't take it with you, here is a whole darn crew. It looks like Woodstock over here, with all of these green dudes running out of the mud. I don't oh my goodness. Unit cap approaching 35, a very, very compatible and competitive Carrie Jenko. You're gonna have to send me a voicemail with the appropriate pronunciation of your username, because it looks like that's not the only thing we're gonna battle over right now. As a matter of fact, we got the shield upgrades, as you can see, a little bit of a buff going into another large fight. But can Mr. Tomo draw perhaps this set of Sluggo boys into the heavier gun array that is sitting just southeast of this match? I would hope so, but it looks like that might not be necessary. We have gun for gun, especially with that force commander in the center of the fray, distracting the fire. Oh, and also these standalone gunners. Nobody can go around, nobody can get through, nobody can get out, even scouts are getting involved. Ooh, and they're being targeted directly. What kind of weapon is coming up next? We have a take and hold victory, potentially. But who's the one? Mr. Tomo. I'm telling you, those gun placements are going to be the line that stops the green man approach. As you can see, Carrie's army has been reduced pretty far. The listening post, the guns, but there just simply aren't enough of the guns. All Mr. Tomo needs is about 7 minutes now, controlling more than half, I would say, or 2 out of 3. I think it's critical points across the map. Critical locations. And that'll allow Mr. Tomo to put some pressure down and maybe control some other points, just to pin down and kind of contain this army. Though I don't think that'll be much of an issue. I think that we're going to approach supply blockedness, as producing that many units at a time does take a considerable amount of resources. Not long enough to go into a full war itself. However, what I'm not seeing is no tech developments and even fewer units being pumped out. That income is just being too low. And so Mr. Tomo with the economic game, even with a big mech in the middle of the battlefield, is going to definitely handle this match. Can definitely defend, upgrading units as he goes. Let's have a quick look at his view. You see some weapon upgrades coming in? Oh no, got a monastery. I'm looking for maxed out units for this type of bunch of really powerful, deep dark red space marines, like the blood of their enemies spilling on the battlefield. Not even this gunner tower can do much damage. He can throw mans across the board, but this force commander is still alive and well. And we're going to use that to push through. Force commander is such a disturbing unit in this game, because they have this double shield and energy, these extra powers. I mean, a single force commander can take on 1 to 2 units of the base of most armies. And that's why you want to play Space Marines. You have a really powerful startup, even at that cheap cost. But pay attention to this income up here, right? 122 requisition points and 40 energy. That's just pure freaking money. He's going to throw more and more units, as you can see. Now what is this? assault Reaper squads. These are not Reapers. This is not StarCraft. These are assault marines with jump jets. Look at those jump jets. Jump jet right into the middle of the battle. Once again, cleaning up and pushing that line a little bit more forward. I would not be surprised to see Mr. Tomo drop a couple more heavy guns on this side of the map just to kind of close things off. And all he has to do is hold still at this point, hold steady. Another control point is taken down. We're focusing down this relic. Boom. Mr. Tomo, very, very quick fight. Not a huge unit cap, not a huge problem. Plenty of resources going in and out, and that's allowing us to upgrade these units. And maybe grab a couple of these points faster. There are 3 minutes left before Team 1 will take it. Yeah, nice jump jet. I don't see a lot of other units showing up on in the opposition, and that might just be, like I said earlier, a resources thing. I'm noticing, yeah, a little bit of money, less time. I think these are invisible. Just really well camouflaged. Goblins? Gretchen. That's a cute name. Can you take a relic even with an armored suit? No. Mr. Tomo not messing around, knowing that he can't really be passed at this point, even with this shooter squad showing up. Going for the buildings. It's a race against himself at this point. Shooters being focus fired. Oh no. That is quick. Out. 3 out of 8 control points. 2 minutes to win it. What the heck are these guys? Storm Boy. With quite the announcement into battle. Rockets strapped to their backs. Slightly higher tech, but not enough numbers. We need slightly higher numbers. We need the ratings, guys. We need that force commander being animated at a whole 12 frames per second
until taken hold victory.
To stun the competition. What is that? Mission launchers. Hopefully that was not the end of the replay. Oh, but it was. I would say GG. This one looks like it absolutely goes to Mr. Tomo for round 4, game 1 between Tomo and Kerry Jenka. Well played. Kerry Jenkins. Hopefully, I mean, that was a very aggressive match at the beginning, but economically kind of got out of control, and like, it seems like, I haven't watched many Tomo's matches, but that's going to be a hard person to stop in terms of momentum. That seems to be their style, their way. That was another Hyperkinetic Hyper League replay for Dawn of War Soulstorm. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Pro. I'll see you.